A little inaccurate on that. It's probably more like the 10th highest to break even. But yeah, it has to achieve at a very high level, but that was always a given.
Oh my God.
I'm not buying it, guys. I'm not buying it.
A little inaccurate on that. It's probably more like the 10th highest to break even. But yeah, it has to achieve at a very high level, but that was always a given.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
A little inaccurate on that. It's probably more like the 10th highest to break even. But yeah, it has to achieve at a very high level, but that was always a given from when we started. That was always a challenge.
I don't think it's a $2 billion movie. I think that number has been inflated by like James Cameron himself. This is the GQ article with James Cameron. This is the Holy Grail. How expensive was the movie? And this is Cameron, by the way. Very fucking. The movie was very fucking. In order to be profitable, he said, you'd have to be third or fourth highest grossing film in history. This is what James Cameron said. So people did the math and they were like, okay, what's the fifth highest grossing movie of all time? I think it was Force Awakens or something. It was like $2 billion. And they were just like, well, there, connect the dots. Therefore, Avatar needs to make $2 billion in order to be profitable. I'm not buying it. I've never seen anyone present to me a $2 billion figure without using this quote from James Cameron. Ever. I've never seen it. Just because James Cameron says, oh, this movie has to be a $2 billion success, right? Okay. The reason why would he be doing this? To get his fans that hear him say this and are like, oh shit, oh, well, I want this movie to be profitable. I got to go see it 3 times. Why would a director not do everything he can to inflate some of these numbers to get as many people out to the theater as possible? For the Avatar 2 budget, this is what we're looking at. I haven't seen anything above $500 million. More than $100 million on marketing. That is obviously true. Okay. What I'm gathering is big budget movies like this generally have, I've never heard of a movie north of $300 million for their marketing. I've never heard that in my life. This whole rumor or whatever, conspiracy or whatever you want to call it, that marketing always 100% of the time costs double of the production budget is kind of bullshit. Okay? It's kind of bullshit. If Avatar 2 costs upwards of $500 million, does it not make sense that a good chunk of that budget went into the developing costs of the technology and the production design that will also be used in the entire rest of the franchise? This is called a DeepX 3D camera, right? It's a 3D beam splitter. It's an underwater camera. Cameron invented filming techniques and equipment such as performance capture using head rigs, virtual stage called the volume, a fusion cam, a virtual cam, which all together contributed to an extremely immersive experience for the audience. All of this technology that they spent millions, maybe tens, hundreds of millions of dollars on, is going to be used in the sequels. This is not just for Avatar 2. Why are we counting that in the budget of Avatar 2 when it shouldn't be? If this technology is going to be spread across all 4 films, why are we not dividing the cost of all this shit? Why is this even? If you're going to compile that all and just shove it into the Avatar 2 like budget costs, you're being kind of stupid, because it's not just Avatar 2, it's Avatar 3, 4, 5, and 5. They're going to use this technology for all of them. So don't do that. Don't like be so assertive about or like dramatic about how it's flopping. Oh, Avatar 2 is a fucking flop. It is a flop. Never gonna make money. Not gonna make a third one. Even though they have already fucking finished filming the third movie. And all the people that hate the movie or don't want Disney to succeed are using this mysterious number as a factual statement when they have absolutely no evidence whatsoever that it cost $2 billion. Okay, so we're gonna do $450 million. Okay, this is the budget. This is like the peak budget that I see everywhere. I mean, it's probably estimated way too high, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But we're going to go with it, okay? We're going to add the marketing next, the marketing and distribution. I'm going to be generous and do $250 million. If anybody wants to say that I'm lowballing this, you're welcome to come on here and disagree with me. But you guys can go look it up. Generally speaking, $200 million is in the high range for Hollywood films, for marketing. So 450 million plus 250 million, right? The marketing distribution. That's $700 million. That's a lot of money. Now, this is how much money essentially Avatar 2 costs. It probably costs less, but we're going with the highest possible range just for the sake of the argument. Now, they need to make this much money back. Keep in mind that when we talk about how much the studios make in profit versus the theaters, right? So the theaters have to make money. So generally speaking, the domestic algorithm, the domestic, percentage of what theaters make versus the studios is 50%, 50-50. So studio is going to be taking away 50%. Internationally speaking, it falls more along the lines of 40%. And when you talk about China specifically, I think they keep like 75%. So studios will take 25% of the box office revenue from Chinese markets. It's very difficult without the final numbers to calculate all this stuff. I'm not going to use 50%. I think that would be definitely too high. Avatar is doing really well in the international markets. So let's just go down to 35%, okay? So what we're going to do is take $1.5 billion and we're going to divide it, we're going to multiply it by that percentage, 35%, $525 million, okay? That number is actually lower than the budget that we calculated earlier. So if we take that $525 million and we subtract it from the $700 million, that's how much it cost for the movie. That's $175 million. That's how much more money they're going to have to make. So what we're going to have to do is add this number to the 1.5 billion in order for the film to actually to break even, like I said, because this is what they need more than 1.5 billion. So let's do it. 1.5 billion plus 175 million. That's a 1.675 billion, okay? This is not $2 billion. This is what James Cameron said in a recent interview. James Cameron said that his original statement was incorrect and that it would need to be the 10th highest grossing movie of all time to break even, right? Which puts it around $1.5 billion.
A little inaccurate on that. It's probably more like the 10th highest to break even.
Which also kind of lines up with the fact that I think this number is slightly exaggerated, to be honest. I think my 35% figures might have been a bit too low. I think the $450 million budget is too high. Now, I want to give a shout out to Ryan Kinnell and Drunk 3PO because they, I wasn't the only one saying this. Ryan Kinnell put out a video yesterday basically saying this. He just didn't have that James Cameron video that I found today on Reddit. And Drunk 3PO was also kind of being a little bit more optimistic about the profit margins. But the whole point is, guys, 95% of you were dying on this hill, $2 billion. But now we know. Now we have a little bit more of a realistic expectation for this movie. 1.5 billion sounds about right, maybe a little bit more. But come on, guys, let's put the $2 billion conspiracy theory to bed. Okay, I think we can all do that. Thanks for watching the video. I'll talk to you later.